we're going to use this as an example. Everybody's least favorite setting of the Cherubic Hymn in America, which is Bornyansky number 5, right? Um, Least favorite because it's overdone, or at least it was overdone in America for many, many years. And I would say for some people that it's their least favorite because they didn't do it well or correctly. This first example here is probably the way most of us sing it, without any kind of musical phrasing, and probably written too fast and just sung kind of straight through. In a very, very much in a too fast kind of way. I don't know who did this arrangement. I just pulled different versions off of the internet. Um, this second one is I think an Antiochian arrangement. Again, a little bit better because it has some dynamics in it. Um, but again, kind of gives the idea that it's maybe a little bit faster than it needs to be. And it's still just kind of looks interesting. This version is the same Vladimir's version, which looks a little bit different, right? It's in 3, all 3-2, not 3-4.
Type in 1 if this is your least favorite Cherubic hymn, and type in 2 if you love it. Let's see. Let's see what we get. 1 if it's your least favorite. 2 if you like it. Woohoo! We got 1.
Just yeah, lots of.
I'm sure lots of people.
No, they're coming in now. Yeah, if we look at this version on the screen, that's from the Saint Vladimir's book. It's a little bit different, right? It's written in 3-2. It has a lot more dynamics, and seems like maybe but it looks like, oh no, this looks like even slower, right? Well, the interesting thing then is, what is this? This is Bortnyansky's original version, right? And when you see it, you see a lot of things that we never see in any English version that anybody ever does, or I would dare even say even some of the Russian versions that have been done in America that I've seen. Bornyansky's version is written in 6. It's in 3-2, right? It says it's slow. It has a lot of dynamics, but it also has things like rests that are never in any version. What are interpreted very often as eighth notes, and some of the phrases are actually grace notes in Bornyansky's text. It has a fifth part that is never sung, but can actually change the sound quite a bit. It's a second tenor part that's more of a baritone part. It's really interesting. So there's a lot of things to see here. Now you have to keep in mind too, what was this written for? Bornyansky was most likely writing probably for the sonatal choir, possibly to be sung in patriarchal services, in major court services. It's slow for a reason, and but there's a lot to take away from here. One thing is that the words are in a very different order than in the English version, with the exception of what we sing in the Dallas area, because our Archbishop Dmitry of blessed memory, when he translated the Cherubic Hymn, he translated it quite literally with the Slavonic word order. So instead of "let us represent the cherubim," our version says "we the cherubim mystically representing," which is the order that it's in Slavonic. And it's kind of weird to sing, but when you kind of see a version like this, it makes sense. But why that's important is because most American versions or English versions put the dynamic emphasis on words that are not the words that Bortnyansky put them on, but people sing them in the same places that Bortnyansky put them. And so this is one of those times where it's really important to look at the the nuances put into the piece, which Metropolitan Longing would say to sing, but to decide whether they're correct for our versions. So if we look, if you're looking at the Slavonic text, "we the cherubim mystically representing" is kind of the order that it's in, and these the dynamics are over certain words which are not the words that they are in the English version, but the dynamics are in the same place. So we're emphasizing words that Bortnyansky didn't mean to emphasize, because he knew what he was doing when he said the emphasis on specific words for the theological meaning of these texts, or at least we hope that he did. So these are all the kind of things to look at when especially if you're going to pick a piece that is a translation. If you're picking something that's been written in English that's new, then you don't have to do this. But if you're picking a majority of our music in English that was written in Slavonic or Greek, um, find the original copy, and you can use that to help your analyzation. So that now we get somebody who maybe takes this Bornowski's version and actually starts to write it out in English, not exactly with the right words, but some of the other parts. The fifth part is here, the rests are here, the fermatas are there. A very different way of what Bordiansky wrote, or how we interpret it in America. Now I've started conducting this way with Bordiansky's kind of original feel, and it changes the sound, it changes the service. It makes it to where, number one, if you use the idea of this is in six, it allows you to do this cherubic hymn in a way where you don't have to repeat any of it. If you're doing the service with just a priest, or a priest and a deacon, not a hierarchical service, but I still wouldn't do this one probably for a hierarchical service. But if you're doing it on a Sunday, you can actually do this in a way where you don't have to repeat it, which is one reason people don't like this one, is you have to repeat it all the time because it's such short phrases, because people do it too fast. So these are some things you can look at when you're looking at this text, or these pieces. Look at the composer's intention, right? Very often we ignore dynamics in Orthodox music, but they are there, and the composers put them in specific places, sometimes for a reason. And you can look at those and see, like, does it match what we're doing? Do I need to move the dynamics so that they match up textually with what the composer said? How can I interpret that to make it work? So, if you were to ever want to do it, there are a couple of versions. I'm working on one too, of doing this piece with the fifth part, with all the dynamics, and try singing it at a different, slower, even slower than you might do it now. Tempo completely changes the sound. It's actually a very beautiful cherubic hymn setting, but again, we all have in our mind that it's so ingrained in our mind as a certain way that we don't want to do it anymore. But it's something to think about.